Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is week 19, episode 19 of Black Sheep Podcast. Um, that's crazy. I say that every week, but it's crazy. 19 consecutive weeks of just me talking and you listening. So thank you. Of course, as always, I appreciate when people let me know they're watching, listening. I'd love to know who it is. This week we are talking about pets in our lives. Because pets are amazing. So let me get into it with me personally. Currently I have two cats and a puppy. Thor, Storm, and Scooby. Thor and Storm, we were, keeping a Marvel theme name, going on. And then we got Scooby, and originally we named Scooby Stark for Tony Stark and, keep the Marvel names going. But he came home and, we brought him in the house and, we saw him in the light. And when he came home, he had a blue collar on him. And we're like, damn, he looks like Scooby-Doo. So we nixed the Stark name and it's Scooby. And growing up, man, I always had dogs. I had 3 dogs growing up. And then at some point I had a bird, fish, of course. Had a couple guinea pigs for a little bit. I had a bunny. I just love animals, man. Pets are so cool. They're such a big part of our lives. It's such a big part of our families. Yeah, man, I love them. And it's cool. I think, it's meant to be. You're meant to have, for the most part, I think you're meant to have the animal that you have, the pet that you have. My first pet I got on my own. So, after I moved out and I was living on my own, I got a cat because I was in an apartment, and cats are great for an apartment, man. They can be home all day. You don't gotta walk them. They take care of themselves. They go to the bathroom. They clean themselves. Cats are awesome, dude. I love cats. But yeah, so I went to a shelter, and it's cool. It's a no-kill shelter. There's some animals that just spend their whole lives there. Whether they're healthy or not. Obviously they're taken care of. They're given the medical assistance that is needed, but yeah, it's a no-kill shelter. And you go in, and for the cats, there's a room, and you go in, and there's just cats everywhere. So I went by myself. I walked in, and there was a chair. Right when you walk into the right, there was a chair. So I just sat on the chair, and this little kitten just hopped up on my leg. And he was just like laying on my lap. I'm like, oh, he's chill. So I'm petting him. I'm talking to an employee. And then I'm like, all right, let me give some other cats, some attention, give them a chance. So I got up. I'm walking around the room, and the cat that had hopped up on my leg, the kitten that hopped up on my leg, is like following me around. I'd, get on my knees or like sit on the floor and play with other cats. And that other kitten was there, and he was playing with me. And then I walked across the room to a bench where I saw some cats sitting and, playing. So I sat on the bench, and here comes that little kitten, hops up on my leg. And other cats were like sitting on me. It was really cool. I had about like 4 or 5 cats and kittens just like laying on me, sitting on me. So cool. But it was clear. It was clear that that little kitten that jumped on me, he was mine, and he was coming home with me. So that was Thor. And that was just truly meant to be. He truly picked me to be his family. And then a little over a year later, right after me and my now fiance got engaged, I was like, I'm ready for another cat. And the ongoing joke for like a year was, I can't get another cat until I propose. And I made a joke right after I proposed. I'm like, oh, we're getting another cat. So we went back to that shelter. She came with me. And, we're walking around. There weren't a lot of cats there, which actually made me kind of happy. Like, I knew that these kittens and cats were getting homes. So we're walking around. I'm playing with some cats. She's playing with some cats. And then she starts bonding with this little kitten that was, like, sitting on the windowsill. And she's like, babe, come look. I came over, and she, like, came up to me. And she ended up, like, laying in my arms like a little baby. And I'm, like, rubbing her belly. And I'm like, yeah, this is the one. So that was Stormy. And then Scooby, we just got lucky, man. I was looking online, and I saw a picture of him. I'm like, oh, he's cute. He came from Texas. His breed, he's a Carolina dog and a lab mix. And those breeds mix are supposed to be really good with, children and cats and other dogs. And I think he will. He's great with children, great with people. Right now, he's just a playful little pup, so I'm hoping he'll grow out of that and be a little more calm with dogs and cats. But yeah, man, that's Scooby. So yeah, man, I truly love animals. I truly love, pets. Um, and I love to know that a lot of people give them the lives they deserve. I hate when people have pets and they want them there when it's convenient for them. Throughout my life, I've seen people have pets, and it's like, they want pets because oh, this dog is so cute. And, you give the dog attention, you post it all over social media, and then when the dog is no longer convenient for you, you want to travel, you want to do your own thing, you don't want to have to, have that responsibility of a dog. You put it in, you crate it with like a vet at a kennel. You drop it with some friends for a weekend. You drop it with like whatever it is, man. I mean, that dog is part of your family. That pet is part of your family. I think it's so wrong when people just drop them at a friend's house and then another friend's house. I mean, it's disgusting. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. People are like, oh man, no, they love staying at so and so's house. Like, no, that is your pet, man. It's nobody else's pet. It's your family member. So I hate that shit. I hate seeing people have pets but only want them when it's convenient for them. Um, I've also seen people get into relationships with people and they get a pet with them, and then when they break up, hopefully one of them take the pet, but that's not always the case. Um, and it becomes that same thing where like neither of them really want the pet, so they either take it to a shelter, give it to a friend, give it to a family member. It's just so disgusting, man. Like, don't make the commitment if you can't follow through with it. It's a family member. It's like a kid. For some people, the pets are like their kids. Um, and when it comes to responsibility, another big thing, and this happened recently, unfortunately, a friend of mine, um, their dog was killed by another dog because, long story short, a woman was watching her father's dog. It was a Rottweiler, I believe, and it wasn't her dog to begin with. She had it out without a leash, which is crazy because they have a fence in the backyard. So why it was in the front yard where there's no fence and not on a leash? Bizarre to me. Um, but my friend, his wife was walking there, their little dog, and the Rottweiler was coming over, not seeming, threatening or anything, not barking, and all of a sudden, uh, attacked the dog and eventually killed the dog. And the only reason I bring this up is it's that responsibility thing. Yes, it wasn't this woman's dog, but regardless, I mean, even if you're watching somebody's pet, take some fucking responsibility, some accountability. It pisses me off when people are like, oh, my dog's so sweet, my dog wouldn't hurt a fly, I don't need to leash him. You could have the sweetest fucking dog. You could have the sweetest fucking dog. I don't give a shit. I have a pretty sweet dog. He's a puppy. He's very playful. He gets very excited, but I don't think he would hurt anybody. But I still put him on a leash because that's the responsible thing to do. That's the right thing to do. So to those who think their dogs don't need to be on a leash, to those who don't bother putting their dogs on a leash and then get annoyed when other people are upset that their dog isn't on a leash, y'all are some of the shittiest fucking people out there. Because yes, it is a member of your family. Yes, it is a living, breathing, loving creature. But at the same time, it is an animal. It could be the sweetest animal on the planet, but one little tick and something like this could happen. Could have been the first time that Rottweiler ever did anything like this. But it's an animal. It happens. It could happen to anybody, to any animal. So to those who feel like they don't need to put their dog on a leash, fuck you. You're one of the shittiest types of people. Selfish people. Fuck you. With that being said, man, just, I don't know, man. If you're not able to see yourself taking on the responsibility of loving and caring for a pet for the next 10 to 15 years, don't get one. Like, I know it's the cool thing. Yes, puppies are cute, cats are cute, whatever it is are cute. But these are living creatures, they bond with you. They love you. And it's just wrong when people only want them when it's convenient for them. It's as simple as that, man. This might be a short podcast. I just love animals, man. I do. I love animals. And again, the shout out to the people that truly take care for their pets, and other animals. You know, if you work in a shelter or a vet. Yeah, man. With that being said, I think that's everything I wanted to hit on. Um, yeah. All right. So next week is week 20 and episode 20, and I was debating on whether or not I wanted it to be my last podcast, or my last podcast for a while, and I'll take a couple weeks off. It could be like seasons, like these first 20 episodes could be like season one. But no, I'm gonna keep going. But number 20 is kind of gonna take things from each week. Next week's topic is going to be on distancing yourself, whether it's from family members, from friends, or people you thought were your friends, or just people in your lives. It's going to be distancing yourself, because I think that's one of the best things you can do for yourself. And it's something I've done my whole life, and it's something I currently do, and it's something I will continue to do for myself and for my family. So I think, a lot of things that have been talked about over the last 20 weeks are going to be talked about next week. But I think we're going to get more into detail about it. I think we're going to get more. We'll talk about it next week. Moral of the story is stick around. I'll see you next week. I think next week you'll really get to truly know who I am, why I do what I do. If you hear things about me, maybe you'll get to hear my side of stories you may have heard. But until then, stay beautiful. Don't judge people. Don't be a dick. And as always, peace out, Girl Scouts.